Any more mics? Are you not going to die? When the minister is done, just going to summarize this presentation.
Okay, colleagues, we're about to start. SABC, are you still going live or after? Okay.
What I want to do it afterwards.
Okay, guys, are we ready? Are we set up?
They're just waiting for my eyes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
How much time do we have?
Are they going live?
Okay. All right. Minister, are you ready?
Ladies and gentlemen, greetings to everybody once again, and allow me to acknowledge the MEC from KwaZulu-Natal, and of course all the executives from SANRAL, members of the board who are together with us today, and members of the media. Thank you very much for joining us. Ladies and gentlemen, what we are showcasing today is critical road infrastructure which SANRAL is engaged in developing here in KwaZulu-Natal. And what I can share with you is that this work that we are currently undertaking on the N2 and on the N3 will be the biggest road upgrade that has been seen in this province for several decades. Once completed, we will have covered 135 kilometers, including both the east-west and the north-south areas. And the total value of the project will be in the region of about 50 billion rand. Now, at the moment, these areas that you're seeing have been plagued by congestion. 70% of the freight that moves on land moves through this N3, N2 corridor to the ports of Durban and also, of course, to the port of Richards Bay. So easing traffic congestion, making these roads safer, both for passengers and for freight, is a major objective of the projects that we are seeing. First objective is to widen the existing roads. And on the N3, we want to increase the lanes to 4 or 5 lanes. We also want to increase the number of lanes on the interchanges. And we've already taken you at Ashburton to one of the bridges where we are busy widening the interchange. This particular project is extremely interesting because it's all about efficiency and road safety. And essentially, once it's completed, there will be a whole new roadway that connects the N3 from one high-level piece of ground to another high-level piece of ground, eliminating the sharp descent areas and the very sharp curves. And that, of course, is going to have an enormous impact on road safety, but of course it's also going to cut down on travel time and make it much more efficient. What we were informed when we were viewing the construction of the bridge is that currently you can see there's a lot of congestion as trucks have a compulsory stop where they have to change down gears so that we don't land up with a runaway truck situation on the sharp bends and the sharp declines. Now, I think that what is very interesting about this project, apart from the actual road construction and the impact that it will have economically, is the important work we are doing to promote small construction companies, and also the important work we are doing to make sure that young people, whether they are in the artisan class or whether they are university graduates, have an opportunity to undertake on-site training so that they can then be registered as professionals or as artisans in their particular category of work. One of the major problems we face in this country in terms of economic development and growth, from a construction point of view, is that it is difficult for small construction companies to grow and to attain the necessary experience so that they can move up the CIDB registration ladder. 30% of the spend on this huge project is on subcontractors. So the total value on this particular package of work is about 8 billion rand. And obviously the intention is to make sure that by the time a company has finished their particular package of work, they're able to upgrade their CIDB grading, and next time they will be able to undertake a higher category and of work, and obviously work of greater value. Altogether, on this project to date, we have trained 1,000 young people. These people include civil engineers, quantity surveyors, chartered accountants, and artisans that would be working on everything from welding, bricklaying, plumbing, you name it, across the spectrum of artisan groups. And once they have completed their training here, they will be able to register as professionals. And I'm particularly interested in the question of young graduates, because one of the things we understand is that throughout our history as a country, the state-owned enterprises have played a very important role in giving practical training to graduates of FET colleges, universities, and other forms of formal training. And in the past, that was not going so well. In this project overall, we're spending 340 million on the training of young people. And as I say, to date, 1,000 have been included. The intention over time is that altogether there will be 2,000 young people that will receive their formal technical training on all of these construction sites. We're now going to deal with our South African heritage.
Thank you so much, Minister, for affording us this opportunity.
Hold it.
I'm just going to highlight some fundamentals as thanking the Minister on ensuring that this becomes a legacy project. This is going to be one of your legacy projects, Minister, having spent so much. I will then code switch to isiZulu just to enhance the scope for the vernacular. And I'm sure you understand by now that KwaZulu-Natal, in terms of road infrastructure, Central has played a pivotal role. And we want to thank the Minister for hitting the ground running. Already 100 trainees have been employed through this project. It means that the Decimal Valley is going to be influenced, and we've achieved that already. It is yielding positive result. Ungqongqoshe Minister Barbara Creecy ubongile ukuthi abekhona bengxenye la esifundazweni saKwaZulu-Natal. Wabonga ukuhlangana nethimba uqala eMaritzburg le khona ke ne-disaster team noma i-disaster management center le kwazi kona ukuthi ikubhekele ikuvezele ukuthi uxhakaxhaka lale mgaqo u-N2 no-N3 iveza zonke iscope usuku nosuku. Wabe seyaveza ukuthi mase ihlangene yonke izokhosta u50 billion le project. Uthi phakathi nawo le project kuno 30% osuku ubekelwe laba abasuke behluphekile. Basuke bezosuka kuma grade asuka phansi kuze kuyofika kuma grade ahlukene afika phezulu. uthi already kunabantu abayi-1000 abaqeqeshiwe abazokhiqizwa ile project ama-project ahlukile, ngabe ilese Mkhondeni, kungaba ilese Ashbatini, kungaba ilese kuyona eHammersdale, kungaba ilese yakuyona EB Cloete. Uthi mase konke kuzoyilekelela kakhulu isifundazwe saKwaZulu-Natal ukuthi sikwazi ukubenefita, ngoba kunolwandle olukhulukazi olu-600 km coastline, kune-Durban Harbour, kune-Richards Bay Harbour. Uthi uyoqhubeka kuSandra afake imali ukwenza sure ukuthi isimo sala asibe kahle. Ushilo ukuthi umsebenzi uyaqhubeka, usaqhubeka uyahlola, u-impress nane-engineering ekhona neyenzakalayo lana. Uyafuna ukuthi ithimba liqhubeke liye phambili. Ushilo ukuthi uhamba no-MEC waKwaZulu-Natal okhulumayo, u-MEC uSiboniso Duma, okuyena responsible for transport no human settlements in the province of KwaZulu-Natal. Simbongile-ke ungqongqoshe ngokuletha umsebenzi omkhulu kangaka oyolekelela isifundazwe sethu sithuthukise going forward. Thank you so much, Minister.
Ladies and gentlemen, what I should have also said to you is that, of course, we've saved the best for last. So from here, we're going to the EB Cloete interchange. Unfortunately, we can't do the briefing there because there's going to be a lot of traffic noise, but I think the visuals there are going to be amazing. This will be a 4-story interchange. There will be, in the end, there will be this iconic arch that will span over the whole of the interchange. Obviously the intention of that is to draw an architectural link with the Moses Mabhida Stadium, which also exists in the city of eThekwini. So we're going to go and look at that incredible interchange now. It began in 2023. It's scheduled for conclusion in 2028. And I think that once it is finished, the population of eThekwini is really going to give a huge sigh of relief, because it's going to make an incredible difference in terms of commuting to and from work every single day. Thank you very much.
Uyachaza kungqongqoshe ukuthi ushiye isithebe samadoda egcineni ukuthi ke siyobona umsebenzi omuhle owenziwa lapha eEB Cloete, okumsebenzi omkhulu kakhulu ke izitori ezu3 ukusuka phansi. Ngenxa yesimo sakhona ki-traffic nomsindo ngeke sabakhona izintatheli ezothathela, kodwa umsebenzi yobuముhle kakhulu. Lo msebenzi esime kuona njengamanje udle izigidi 4.2 billion. Iproject yakhona le yaseMabhida ke nayo isinesikhathi iqalile meningabona istadium ukuthi sinjani. Kuyoba njalo ke EB Cloete iyoqoka isigqoko esihle esifana neMabhida ukucebezelisa ukubuya kwesifundazwe sethu saKwaZulu-Natal, nokuthi abafuna ukuzotshala imali nokuthi abafuna ukuzovakasha bakwazi ukuthi basithande lesifundazwe siqhubeke siye phambili sihlondlobale. Ilo mcimbi uMinister akadeze ngawo la esifundazweni saKwaZulu-Natal. Siyabonga kakhulu. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Minister and MEC. We'll just take a round of questions. I know it's too hot. You've been standing for quite a while. So let me take the first round. These 2 hands I've already seen. Can we take 3? Okay, we'll take 2. We'll start with the SABC. You can go ahead.
Minister Jade Paulson from the SABC. Mine is just to ask you, how many years will this project take? I know a lot of people living in Pietermaritzburg and Durban have been traversing through this part of the world and stuck in traffic. It's very frustrating. But if you could just allay some fears with regards to the projection of the years. Thank you very much.
I think the bad news is it's not going to be over soon. This is a 4-year project. It began last year. We are now in year 2. Parts of it will be finished by 2027, and other parts will be finished 2028. But some of the road widening areas, such as the section next to Ashburton that we saw, that will be opened early next year. So I think there will be incremental benefits, but I just have to say to road users, I really have enormous sympathy for you. I lived through the Gauteng freeway improvement project. It was an absolute nightmare, but when it was all over, life was much easier. So we just plead for your patience because we think in the end it will be of benefit.
If you can just introduce yourself and question.
Minister Sakisen Ngumalo from News 24. We seeing a lot of projects being disrupted in the province and by the so-called construction mafias. Obviously, such a big project, you possibly encounter such difficulties, and as a department, you will have to deal with it. Maybe in these projects that the Sandal and the department is embarking on, have you experienced such incident, and maybe how are you addressing them, if they may occur or if they had occurred already?
Well, I think first of all, one wants to say to those who want to disrupt projects, it's not a good idea. It's not a good idea because what it means ultimately is that the investment does not get made, the jobs don't get created, the small businesses don't benefit, and the community at large continues to suffer. I think that SANRAL has a very good community outreach program. What we do on all of our sites is that we have regular meetings with all stakeholders so that all members of the community are aware of what are the benefits that are involved and how a particular community can benefit, when such benefits will become available. I'm a person who believes one must never get tired of talking. And generally we find that that approach works well with SANRAL. We have had some disruptions of projects in the Eastern Cape. The N2 Bridge would be one of those projects, but it's now back on track. Of course, if there are criminal elements involved, we do work together with the South African Police Services. But overall, I think you can see that production and progress is moving well, and that is thanks to the team that tirelessly interfaces with communities as projects progress.
Okay, can we take the second round if there's any? I see newsroom has just arrived. Minister, we may have to give a bye to them.
Lele Ndlovu, Newsroom Africa Minister. I'm not sure if I've missed it, but I'd like to find out about, South Africa's action plan in terms of reducing the carbon footprint in terms of transport systems. So how are you going to ensure that this particular project is aligned with the plan that South Africa has in order to reduce the carbon footprint, specifically looking at transport systems?
Well, I like that question. One of the first issues that I looked at when I became Minister of Transport was the green transport strategy. And currently we are reworking that strategy, because you would understand that climate change is not just about reducing greenhouse gas emissions. It's also about responding to the extreme weather conditions that are undermining our road infrastructure. And now the microphone has died. Okay. So what I was saying is that climate change is also impacting very seriously on our transport infrastructure. We've seen a number of extreme weather events here in KwaZulu-Natal. I think that you will recall the devastation that the 2022 floods did to the N2. Some of that repair work has only just been concluded. And I'm currently dealing with extensive repairs to the rail network in the city of Cape Town, where, as a result of flooding, the rail network was washed away. In terms of reducing greenhouse gas emissions, obviously the issue of alternate energy vehicles is very important. And the Department of Trade and Industry has a master plan around the development of electric vehicles. And I think it was earlier this year that we saw certain tax incentives in this regard that the Minister of Finance announced. Of course, what we're also interested in looking at is what kind of alternative fuels can be used in heavy vehicles, such as trucks. Because what we understand is that electric vehicles might not be appropriate for the trucking sector. In that regard, South Africa is working on the development of green hydrogen because we think that we have the right climatic conditions, plenty of sunshine to convert carbon into a liquid fuel. This is important technology that is currently owned by Sasol. The Fischer-Tropsch technology, it's a South African-owned technology, which we think is a very, very important technology. And so what we're wanting to do is to bring together all aspects of both our adaptation and our mitigation work that different transport entities would be working on into a comprehensive green climate strategy that would enable us to chart the way forward. Thank you.
Thanks. This could be the last round. I see SABC, News 24 as well. We'll start with SABC.
My last question to you is just a response on the interdict by private bidders who are trying to take over Transnet here too.
Well, I think that last night I had an opportunity to interact with the chairperson of Transnet. We have agreed that we will abide by the court ruling. We will not appeal the court ruling. And we are now taking legal advice on how we can proceed with the review as suggested in that ruling. Our interest is to bring in a private partner so that we are able to dramatically improve the capacity of the Port of Durban. I think everybody here knows that we're not moving as many tons of goods and services through that port as we need to do. We need that partner, we need the investment, and we will do it in a manner that is compatible with the decision of the court.
Okay. Thanks. 24.
From News 24 again. My question is about the issues of congestions outside the ports, especially in Richards Bay and also here in the Durban port. We understand the importance of fast-moving traffic, especially around the ports. And now it affects residences where there's queuing traffic on the N2, that side. Maybe is there an engagement with Transnet and other stakeholders to try and find a solution to address that specifically?
Yes, and let me first of all say that I think last week the congestion was particularly bad along the N2, and that obviously is something that greatly inconveniences not only those who are transporting the coal, but also, of course, those who are traveling on that road stretch. We did some work together with the Chief Operations Officer of Transnet, and the key problem is that small minerals producers are not getting adequate access to train slots for the movement of their products. So I've asked Transnet to address that issue because primarily we want to move as much of our ore freight as possible back onto the rail network. And certainly the ore producers would only want to be using trucking in emergency situations. We would like to support them in that process, and that means for the smaller producers, we have to make sure there are more slots available. We're working on that at the moment.
Okay. That brings us to the end. We're going to move to the interchange. There you'll just get the photo opportunity, but we won't allow the issue of the interviews there. Okay.
Just as we want the award to Jade SABC.
Oh, what award?
Live crossing here.
Yes.
Three short